Beautiful padded hangers are one of life's little luxuries, so a set of these hangers makes the best gift. Hi, this is Jude Bell with Threadhead TV. Thanks for joining me on this tutorial on how to make padded hangers. These gorgeous, one-of-a-kind padded hangers are fit for a celebrity's closet. I tried about 4 different ways to make these, and I'm going to show you the 2 best ways I found. Some fabrics lend itself better toward the wrapping method, or you might just want to do less sewing. But this takes more fabric. And the other method is the sewing method, which takes less fabric but more sewing. We will start with this method, the sewing method. Step 1, start with nice wooden hangers. I got these at Kroger's for $6. Step 2, choose coordinating fabrics. Step 3 is making your pattern piece. Trace around the top piece of your hanger, then add a margin of 1.5 inches all the way around the tracing to make room to wrap the sides and for seam allowances. Next, fold your pattern piece in half to ensure that both sides are perfectly symmetrical, and pin on the fold of your fabric. If you want to cut 2, as I did here, you will need to double fold so that you have 4 layers of fabric that you're cutting through. Repeat the same step to cut out the padding. I used 2 layers of cotton flannel on each side of my hanger for my padding, so I needed a total of 4 flannel cutouts for each hanger. This is a perfect use of ugly flannel or salvage bin flannel at the store. You could also use 1 layer of quilted batting instead of flannel to give your hanger padding. Sandwich the 2 layers of flannel facing each other, then place the hanger fabric right side down. Pin and straight stitch along the bottom edge using a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Iron seam allowances to set the stitches. Then snip up the center to the stitching line, being careful not to cut the stitches. Turn right side out and iron. Trim away the excess flannel. So your bottom edges are finished, and on to finishing the top edge. Place right sides together as shown. Pin and straight stitch along the top and around the sides of the hanger using a 5/8 seam allowance. Be sure to leave a 1-inch opening at the top of your hanger. I stitched this at the tops, as you can see here. I stitched each top down first before sewing the rest, but just leaving an opening at the top is sufficient. Use a heavy-duty needle like a jeans needle. I started out using a universal needle, and all my layers broke the needle, so start with a heavy-duty one. If you have a walking foot, use it, and that will prevent your layers from bunching up. If you don't have a walking foot, no big deal. There'll just be a little bit of bunching on the inside, which won't show when you turn it right side out. Turn it right side out and press. I pressed my inside seams open so they would lay a little bit flatter on top of the hanger. You will have ends that stick out like this when you're done, which you can snip off, but I prefer to tack it up in there to give the edges a little extra padding. Blind stitch the bottom closed so it won't shift around on the hanger. You can use large stitches here. The point is just to close it up. When you're ready to knot off the end, put it down in the inside of the hanger padding where it won't show. You want to start off your blind stitch this way as well, hiding the knot at the beginning of your stitching on the inside of the padding. And there it is, completed. All you need is to tie a bow at the top for your finishing touch, and you have a set of hangers that is fit for a queen. This was my favorite set of hangers out of the 2 sets that I made. But if you're interested in making the wraparound hanger, stick around, that's next. For the wraparound hanger, you will need to make bias tape. Cutting your strips on the diagonal instead of straight will eliminate bulges as you wrap your hanger because the bias has a bit of stretch. I made my bias strips about 4 inches wide, but this can be quick and sloppy, no precision needed here. I cut 3 strips of this bias tape and I sewed them together, as you can see here at this angle, to make one long continuous strip. Once you have your long strip, you will iron it in half lengthwise. Then you are ready to make the end where we start. As shown, fold back about 3 inches and trace the end of your hanger on top. This will be your sewing line to make a sock-like end where we stick the end of the hanger in and start the wrapping. Trim off all edges down to the sewing line, leaving about 1/8 of an inch, and then turn it right side out. Put your sock on the end, and I will be using some fabric glue to secure the end. As you can see, I have already made the padding layer, and you can do this however you like. I sewed it and then I tacked it on just a little bit crudely, or you can just wrap it around if you don't want to do any fancy sewing. Doesn't matter, it won't show. Then before we really start our wrapping, we're going to finish the other end and make a finished edge so that we don't have any raw edges showing at all. This is probably about an 8-inch length that we're finishing here at the end. So you will take this to the sewing machine and sew right along the pen line and then turn it right side out. I was having a hard time pulling through that long of an end, and so I just bought a loop turner and I'm going to give it a try. The loop turner is typically for something that doesn't already have an end sewn on it. It's an open end, so that it doesn't matter if the hook damages the end of your fabric. But in this case, it's just a wrapped hanger, so if it damages my end a little bit, it won't matter. It was actually a very handy tool to have on hand, but you don't need it for something that's this short of an end. You can use a chopstick to push your end through. Now you actually have all the hard parts done and on to the easy part of wrapping. So you put a couple drops of fabric glue on the end to secure the end in place, another drop just to get it going, and then we won't really need any more fabric glue until we get to the other end. Wrap in such a way so that it's tight but not too tight, making sure all raw edges are covered. This end will be the trickiest part, but I just situated it so that I could tuck the very end down in, and I secured it with more fabric glue. And there you have it, a second way to make a beautiful padded hanger. This is Threadhead TV. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up below if this was helpful or you liked it, and come back again for more great projects.